Are your last days in a job equally important as the first ones? And the short answer is no. But it's equally important to leave a good last impression before you move on to your next adventure and direction. So I guess you're going to ask me, okay, Jörn, I'm leaving my job for good, so what's actually important to make a good last impression? Because this chapter has ended for me now, so why should I put effort and try to maintain a good impression? I'm Dr. Jörn Kubus, founder of thecareerexcellence.com, and I am an ex-McKinsey employee. So I worked there for 8 years as a junior associate partner, and I help nowadays professionals to advance their careers, obtaining positions aligned with their passions, interests, and also offering opportunity for growth and progression through their careers. So there aren't too many scenarios when you are navigating your last days in the job. Scenario 1 is case A, you're laid off either because your performance isn't good enough or wasn't good enough, where it's kind of your fault, or the department is cutting costs and downsizing, or there's a strategic shift in the company and it's absolutely not your fault. And the second scenario is that you made the decision to quit and it was your choice, either because you found something else already or you just wanted to escape a toxic environment to focus on resting or pursuing other opportunities. So whatever the situation, the exit process should be still the same, and here's why. So let me start by explaining why you should maintain and even upgrade your professional game throughout your last days. So first of all, your next employer may reach out to your current one and ask about you, or ask about your activities and achievements and just who you are and how it is to work with you. And this is where the last impression truly matters, because if you were the best employee around for all these years but left a job within half-completed projects and just slammed the door, this is what your manager and employer will remember. And let me tell you, I'm not talking about courtesy or ethics or maintaining politeness here. I'm talking about what benefits you as a professional and how you're following the next steps that I will lay out in a bit will boost your chances for your next opportunity and also navigating further in your career. So understand that you're doing all this extra work for your own good and nobody else's, either because you don't want to close that door completely and maybe have in the back of your head here to come back to that specific company or job even at some day, or maybe because you want to maintain your network. But the main reason is still to not lose your credibility and reputation as a professional. So first things first, you have to give notice, usually a couple of weeks depending on where exactly you are in the world, but it's important to adhere to that notice period. And then it's also important that you are handling over and also maybe train and ramp up your replacement. So that means quitting and leaving your team hanging in the air in the middle of something serious or demanding or important is just unprofessional and hurts your reputation as a professional long term. So by the end, let's say a couple of weeks and you have your last days in that job, do not have any loose ends regarding your work and your team needs. And to be honest here, but that's also a bit personal, I would suggest to put in even more work and make a memorable last impression, because we want your colleagues and supervisors to have a lasting image of you as a good, hardworking professional that finishes off in style and with impact. However, if the company hasn't found a replacement after the time frame you gave them, well, it's not your fault, right? You should have prepared a handover folder to make the onboarding easier for your successor. And if you could, then yes, try to train him or her, welcome him or her to the team and arrange meetings to help the company to make this transition easier and smoother. But well, if the company is not bringing in a replacement in time, there is not too much you can do about this, right? So just make sure that you are okay and you have done what you can in order to ensure a good handover. So then let's speak about documentation. So I always stress the importance of articulating your achievements and the impact that you had in a company. And this is best done when you use concrete data and numbers. So such as, for example, money saved, or successful deals closed, or the percentage of satisfied clients, or any other positive proof of the impact you had. However, amidst the constant race of our professional lives, I recognize how challenging it can be to document and keep track of your progress on a daily basis. So we might overlook significant achievements simply because they felt like just another day in the office, when in reality they were much more impactful. And as you approach your last days at a company, I encourage you to take a deep dive into your records and documents. So use this time wisely to unearth your contributions and measure your success. So you may discover achievements that you hadn't previously recognized or appreciated, and documenting them will be invaluable for your future and also for your next job interview process. Then let's speak about exit interviews, because probably you will get invited for an exit interview with some executive or supervisor or your manager. And if that hasn't happened, you should try to proactively reach out and arrange this meeting. And there, in this meeting, you will discuss your performance, the objectives you have met and those you have not, the relationship with your colleagues, the overall mood in the company, and also suggestions about navigating future goals and making improvements to the company. And I know this might sound a bit harsh, but this might be one of the best feedback discussions about yourself and your performance you have ever had. Now, you should be genuine and honest in these meetings, of course, but you will maintain professionalism at all points in times. So as always, try to back up everything what you say with data and numbers and tangible, impactful arguments. So the more interested you are in joining back the company, or if you still like to work there, the more open and systematic you should be doing that conversation. And that means that if you had some suggestions or propositions for improvement or innovative projects, you could very well do also a quick presentation. And if things weren't good in this organization, and maybe if you had a hard time, you still should be extremely polite and smile positively, wishing all the best for the future. And you will probably get asked, what did you like here, right? What did you enjoy? What was difficult for you? What was the most demanding part? A good manager and a good supervisor will ask you for feedback in order to seek improvement and get better. And if they don't ask these things, again, you should express them in a systematic way, showing that you do care for the company, even though it may not always be the full conviction, but it is still expected from you as a full professional. So then let's also speak about your team, because a big part of a job in a professional environment is your team, your colleagues. And I know it's rare to find a really good professional environment with a strong and sometimes even fun team. So either way, my suggestion is to arrange meetings with each and every single one of them, thanking them for the opportunity of working together, and again, areas of improvement for each one separately, a good motivational chat expressing admiration and mentioning some particular skills that each of them has, and maybe some instances where their assistance and support was meaningful and important for you. And if true, not only as a professional, but also as a human being. And as always, you could go the extra mile to make your exit more memorable. So you can direct a dinner party at your home, or bring donuts to the office in your last days, or bring a small present or small presents for all of them. So I remember somebody told me that on his last days he brought a plant, a very good and big indoor plant for the office. And that was always there, reminding them of him and how good as an employee he was. So this plant offered him a chance for another opportunity with this company. So it's these some small signs, some small gestures, some small things that could make you memorable and boost your chances significantly for the next steps, whatever they may be. So let's also speak about what happens after your last day. After your last day, and maybe after a couple of weeks, you can always check on them periodically, from sending birthday cards to interacting with them on social media, congratulating them on recent developments and successful projects. And of course, if you can give your own suggestions and advice and maintain the link with the company, staying in touch with the industry and cultivating a solid network. Because a solid network is one of the biggest assets of a professional who cares about their career. And I know, this may sound like a lot of work, and right now it's easy to disregard all that said, because leaving a toxic environment or leaving a job for significantly better opportunity, often you don't see the point in all of that. And it's perceived as looking back, when in reality, it's you keeping an eye on the future. And let me tell you that our professional lives are not straightforward. Sometimes they are rather moving in circles or cycles. And this can be extremely complex. And there are just a lot of ways that you can see again in front of you, the professional past, that you thought you left behind for good. Like an ex-colleague might become a supervisor in your current job. Or you could be a supervisor over an ex-colleague. Or you and your current company could partner up for collaboration in the future. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And I want you to remember one thing. You are not doing it for them. You are doing this for you. And of course, if a company, at least overarchingly, treats you well, you have a lot of reasons to prepare a kind, thoughtful, and heartwarming goodbye. And even if the majority has not treated you in a professional way, maybe it's now the time to step up your professional game and still thank them for the time spent together. So if anyhow possible, get your stuff together. Just make sure to push yourself to be the best professional that you can be, even in situations like this. I'm Dr. Jan Kubus, founder of the careerexcellencesystem.com, and if you liked a couple of ideas here from that video, smash that like button. If you have questions, use the comments function and subscribe to the channel to keep informed on everything related for you to transition into a top career and then also perform in it. See you soon.